Him and Vlad, I heard them speak at Queen's Park, and I said, I want to start speaking about children's mental health because of him. He's helped me. We did not talk for 2 months, but that happens. You still are so important to me, and I still love you as much as I did before. I want to introduce to you Matthew Haley.
Okay, right in the feels. Alright. I can't do nothing. Honestly, coming up here, all that's been ringing in my head, something that's always been said a long time ago, out of the mouth of babes. What a statement. Of our youth. Our youth, considering we're fighting against a system that has twisted our adult minds and led us in a certain area, our youth are still not completely influenced by any of this. They care. They know how to care. They're close to that natural level. We're looking massively at a system and things going on in front of us that we have these solutions to care, but this is how you care. I mean, I'm going to say the care of phoniex. Phoenix is one of the things that got me through 120 days of housing strike, of pure psychological torture, being next to the cars, everything that's going on, basically living as if I was homeless, without knowing that what I was doing was inspiring people such as Phoenix. I mean, I wouldn't have made it to the end without you. To see this work going, to hear the things that are constantly coming out of your mouth unprepared outside of speech, I am blown away. One of the most profound things I've ever heard you say is, what are we doing? We do all this outreach, but we don't look to those in our community or prevent them from actually coming to these areas. We look at, what do I have? Do I have enough? Yet there's a young girl that says, here, give. She'll literally, if the only boot she's got left to give, she'll take it off her foot and give it to someone who's homeless. Her mom's had to stop her from trying back in Ottawa.
Yes, I remember.
Yes, you will be able to treat your frostbite better than most, but still, no, we're not going to get your frostbite, Phoenix. We'll get boots and supplies. The inspiration that's coming and watching adults actually lead and follow the path and the direction of the youth has led to Trinity Bellwoods actually organizing their homeless communities, gathering their extra items that they do not need, supplying them, and now we have inter-province connectivity through homeless communities that both have nothing, supporting each other, and these are the types of actions that are coming out of youth. I myself have been living a poverty case study, and I got too close. I'm honestly almost homeless and fighting off evictions and payments, and I'm doing okay, but I've seen how this system long-term has actually over decades been created to erode and actually fast-track people to homelessness. This is why I actually was inspired to start Mental Health is Visible, for the mere fact of, I mean, even before becoming homeless, there's so many of us that are afraid to even eat the food that's in the cupboards because we don't know where the next load is going to come from or what's going on, or food banks or any of this. It is incredible how this has almost been allowed to happen under the guises of, you haven't earned it, you haven't worked, I've worked, so on and so forth. And that comes from someone who's forced to work 50 hours just to barely even provide something. So we need to really look at reworking the entire system, the bottom line, minimal UBI, actual nonprofit rent with capping international business. I mean, you're making money in our streets, we're going to definitely take a nice little cut. Why can't we bring some of these mentalities to the table to actually create a system that bare bones supports housing, food, the bare necessities, just enough that now it's creating and encouraging you to get into the system, because you're not going to lose it all, just a little bit, and you're going to earn more. This is what we actually have to work to do. As wonderful work is coming from our youth, they're basically telling us we need to take care of each other and we need to follow this example. I would like to finish one last thing with a note to really hit it home. on what it's like to be homeless, to have to actually travel to the food bank. I ironically wrote this poem back in last February of 2020, before the pandemic actually hit. And there's some interesting notes that actually come through that actually bring us to this point. So I'm going to take a moment as this is not so much a rally, this is about getting to those moments, connecting with that heart, which is that other side of what we have to do to make sure we're connecting the communities. I call this one a trip to the bank, the food bank more in particular. Feet wet, breeze blows, a city passes by with the sound of despair. Frozen over, the desperate wait for a glimmer of hope away from frigid air. Opening time has come and gone as we wait for our shepherd to greet his flock. He opens the doors to shivering bodies starting to line the block. Shuffle in do we, cold and beaten, fighting through another day. Smells of stew fill the air, the greeting prospect of hunger away. Another line in a series of lines, always taking one back to start. A DMV of life, we wait endlessly to be deemed possibly of more value than art. Tension is high as emotions fly, picking numbers our fate we ascertain. From across the room you'll hear aloud, why number 62 again? Battered and beaten, bestowed with endless silver lining, unaware pride seamlessly becoming uninviting. Banter and bicker as we round the tables, the volunteers' smiles fade as if working the stables. Led around like cattle, we wonder, is this what we're worth? Is this quite possibly what was meant from birth? The last table comes, stock dwindling as bare surface shows. Impossible to avoid the overbearing feeling of this blows. We pack our bags, filling with the feeling, at least I can eat tonight. Labeled beggars we are, just for simple want of a bite before the night. I sit and I wonder, how can people think we choose this life? The cold sting of hunger regularly cutting like a knife. Choosing a life less than is absolutely crazy. The rest of the world passing by, calling us lazy. Capable and strong with many ways to carry on. Exhausted, I begin to cry out with a tear-filled yawn. I have chosen this life for a moment in time. Tell you this, I will, it has been anything but sublime to be discarded, disregarded, stuck in a prison of desperation, silently begging and pleading, please stop the exacerbation of a crazy new world with a hidden pandemic that's going to require a whole new medic. Through love and care, they will work, completely disregarding and shedding society's bestowed inner jerk, doing away perceptions toxically cynical, life where emotion is anything but equivocal, unconditional compassion, love, and understanding make visible a new dawn where the needs of all are possible. I plead to anyone listening to stop and see, everyone, everywhere is no more or less than you and me. Phoenix, I personally believe the world I dream of will only be capable if people like yourself continue the work, never stop. You are onto something that is going to be part of the roots of fixing not just Canada, Toronto, Montreal, but your actions and your example will eventually echo across the world, and you might be one of the sparks that truly heals. Finally, thank you for everything you do. Don't you ever stop or ever let anyone tell you what you can and can't do. Fucking love you, girl. Anyone fucks with you. They got me to deal with.
Okay, Tamara. Hello.
Now you gotta seal this up.